Water is the softest and most yielding substance, yet nothing is better than water for overcoming the hard and rigid, because nothing can compete with it. Lao Tzu.
Name straight, new wave. Name straight, new wave. Name straight, new wave. Name straight, new wave. Name straight, new wave.
4v3.
Everfrog Esports trying to find what angle they can, trying to find somebody out of position.
We're gonna go through on this. Oh, what a roll. Whoa! CY gonna go in.
It's going to be a really, really interesting one.
Oh my god. All of this competition could be so damn close, so I cannot wait for us to finally decide who's going to be the champion. We are expecting some chaos, some great moments.
Beast Mode has killed 3. Only gonna really need that rampage, so it's gonna clear it out. They're gonna get themselves a big old 4K. Oh! 50 getting rid of 3, clearing out the house.
That is crazy.
Nunji actually kills 3 people.
This team feels entirely different on this faster composition. Now Saga4 is hanging around, getting onto the high ground. Post bomb's gonna stick on the Leaky. They're not gonna be able to survive it at the end of the day. They need to find a 3K.
Rio shoving this Ana into a corner. Woo! One more for the road for Rio.
That is all signs go. Melophobia with 3 Melophobia. Start the fight. They'll end the fight. Oh my god. Beagle Bus, they have to play aggressively into this energy. Popping off in a moment where you needed just that. Ruby in that backline. Oh, the flick. Looking for it. Oh my goodness. The 4th one as well. Do they get the 8? They get the 8. All right, good evening, everybody. Welcome back to CGL for another great playoff match. This time we're going to the Diamond tier as Aurora Fury takes on Cuddle Puddle. My name is Dextron. That is Ray. I mean, to try Ray. Ray, man, how are you doing here tonight?
Feeling pretty good. Just finished the losers finals in Plat Division. Now we're here casting for Cuddle Puddle versus Aura Fury. So feeling great. Love casting the Diamond Division for NA. I mean, it's always a great time. And this is a win and move on to the winner's semifinals to play Wawas. We'll bring up the bracket for you guys on that. Loser will be ending their season right here and now.
Yeah, these two teams didn't meet up back up in week 6 where it was Aura Fury that did take down Cuddle Puddle on a 3-0 sweep, but you kind of see how the Diamond tier is playing out so far here. Death Blossom and Shelby's team currently sitting in that winner's final that will take place sometime a little bit later. Winner of this one will take on Wawa Gaming like you already mentioned, and if you're Cuddle Puddle, I mean, that could be a revenge game if they end up winning here tonight.
Yeah, that game has been scheduled, the winners finals, and it will be Thursday next week. So that's going to be one to put on your calendars, folks, the winners finals for the Diamond Division. But focusing on this one, because it's going to be that utmost importance for these teams to be able to get a feel for each other as we take a look at our schedule from today. Lots of CGL action for you guys. We had 2 EU games earlier. Aura Farmer winning and punching their ticket to the grand finals in a 3-1 match over MSU. SCR Ascendants taking down Smile anyways, 3-0. Drop the Guns taking down Mystic Dead Roses 3-1. Boop Troop ended up going and winning 3-0 against the Zodiacs and punched their ticket to the grand finals. And then Primordius Rising moves further in the losers bracket of the NA Open, beating Subsun, who was one of the favorites, gets sent home, as now we just have Cuddle Puddle and Aura Fury left for tonight.
It's surprised to see Subsun get knocked out as early as they did. They've always been a team that feel like they're always kind of quiet, but always go on deep playoff runs. Primordius Rising, great matchup or great win for them there, but hey, like you said, got to focus on our final series of the day as Cuddle Puddle takes on Aura Fury. And if I remember correctly, last season Cuddle Puddle went on that kind of good run in the lower bracket to make it to the, I believe, to the grand finals. But right now, Ray, I mean, looks like we're going to be heading to everyone's favorite control map to get everything started here at Lijiang Tower.
So they ended up going to winners finals last season and then got knocked down by Death Blossom, and then they lost in losers finals to what is now Shelby's team. So they had a really good run last year. They ended up getting 3rd. So they're hoping to continue that momentum. They've had a little bit, not as good of a season as they were hoping. They ended up being 5th overall in the standings. We're going to have to see how this matchup against Aura Fury specifically was. I do know a lot of the players on Cuddle Puddle, and they do feel confident. They feel like they definitely can match up with Aura Fury in this setting.
Well, like I said, when these two teams met back in week 6, I believe it was Aura Fury that came on top of that one, or won that one in a 3-0 sweep. So Cuddle Puddle is definitely a lot of time since then. Has to feel a lot better about this matchup now.
Yeah, I know they've also been getting some good coaching recently, so hopefully they can make the requisite changes. Lijiang Tower going to be that map pick from Aura Fury, who is the higher overall seed. So expecting a lot of brawl in this situation.
Absolutely, and it's always kind of fun to see it here, especially on this map. Like I said, Brawl is kind of a go-to, but there are definitely points on, say, like Night Market, where you could definitely see some dive come out, some of those wilder comps. Something with a Winston, maybe something with a Wrecking Ball, a Doomfist here. But hey, we can get into hypothetical compositions that we will be seeing here a little bit later. We have to talk about the bans here first, Ray. And again, always with the first ban, I feel like it's safe to go after a support, but I feel like we've started to be seeing a lot more DPS bans be first.
I think it's going to depend on how well these teams know each other. I feel like in the Diamond, these teams, you know, they talk a lot. It's one of our most close, like, division, like, how much they talk to each other and interact. So they tend to all talk to each other, know what each other likes to run, so you can make more well-informed bans. As we look at the Ramatra ban coming out from Aura Fury, which, no surprises here on a map like Lijiang Tower, where Brawl is going to be very proficient. Ramatra getting that buff 2 patches ago, I believe. With getting the extra 25 HP, so we won't be seeing any of him today. Question is, what is Cuddle Puddle looking to do in response?
Again, like I kind of said, I feel like it's always safe to go after a support ban, a Kiri, a Lucio, Juno, maybe even Wu Yang here. I've started to see Wu Yang be banned out a lot, but if you're going to focus on that DPS line, well, what do you think is going to be the biggest problem? Is it going to be the hit scans, or is it going to be those flex DPS, something like a Tracer, something like a Venture? Well, it looks like Cuddle Puddle, they made that one pretty fast. They want to make sure that Tracer is not going to be a part of this first map here. And honestly, Ray, I think these are 2 very solid bans for what Lijiang Tower is.
I think Tracer always going to be one of those pocket picks for a lot of teams, especially in Diamond. And we kind of have noticed that Tracer definitely has had a dip with the recent nerfs and stuff that have taken place, but still always going to be one of those picks that people can just fall back on when in a pinch, or you know, as I mentioned, someone who just plays Tracer a lot, they just feel comfortability. So that's always going to be a solid ban. Excuse me. So given that we're headed to Lijiang Tower and it tends to lean a little bit more brawl heavy, some of the tanks I'd expect more are possibly like a Zarya, possibly an Orisa, maybe a Mauga, maybe going that direction.
Mauga would be pretty interesting, but then again, it is Diamond tier. I feel like that is something that we could obviously see. Hazard, I think, could be something we potentially see as well. Just because I feel like Hazard works pretty well on all 3 points, and really good sustainable tank allows those DPS to really get those off angles and try to clean up anyone else on the other side here. But I feel like, again, these 2 bans just very smart for this one. Like you said, every team almost has a pocket Tracer, and at this point, that pocket Tracer can probably turn into a pocket Genji, a pocket Venture, and some other flex DPS heroes here. But you see the lineups here now for both these 2 teams: Geo and Doryu, Brook, Reese Cub, and Executi for the side of Cuddle Puddle. Festus, Arisen, Potato Boy, Gato, and Peabok there for Aura Fury. I mean, should be I think these are 2 really good lineups here. I mean, like I said, Cuddle Puddle last year, I remember Executi actually really being vital to her team's performance through their playoff run last season. And same thing said with Aura Fury. I mean, right now, I think Potato Boy might be one of the better tanks, and Arisen might be one of the better DPS players in this tier. Sad to see them down in this lower bracket at the moment, but hey, happens sometimes. Sometimes you run into a little bit of a stronger foe than maybe what you would think of in that upper bracket. Now you just have to run it back down here. But again, this entire Cuddle Puddle squad, it looks like the same team I saw last season, so I would not be surprised if they get their lower bracket run started here tonight and try to get one step further than they did last season in that lower finals by making it back to the grand finals.
Alrighty. Here we go. Cuddle Puddle, they are highlighting the Mauga, as I kind of expected or talked about. I had heard rumors of a possibility of a Wrecking Ball coming out from Aura Fury. Wasn't sure, what's the word? Like, if my information was like 100% solid. But it seems like it is, as they are going to roll out on it. And I mean, this is probably the best map for it, especially to go along with the Pharah and a Freya. Lots of poke.
Lots of poke, lots of burst damage as well. I mean, Festus on that Pharah could just be a bunch of bursts, and I think a reason on Freya, just Freya in general. Again, a lot of good burst poke damage that can come out. Already you see Brook just diving straight into the backline. Execute, he almost gets taken out as Brook gets put to sleep there for a brief moment, but Potato Boy gonna be able to find the first pit before Endoryu comes right back, traying it out. You see Potato Boy trying to get those boops off the map, not gonna be able to find anything, but they're doing a really good job of just staying alive. But it seems like Cuddle Puddle gonna be the one to cap point here first.
Yeah, looking very good so far. So good for the side of Cuddle Puddle. That's going to be the name of the game, is trying to aggress and get on top of these supports if you're the side of Cuddle Puddle, because the Odd of the Wu Ying don't have a lot of flexibility in being able to maneuver away if you start charging at it on a Malga.
Yeah, and right now, it's going to also be a little bit of a problem here for Potato Boy. Going up against Endoryu on that Reaper, even though, again, it's something that you don't necessarily hear about that often. I feel like if Potato Boy is trying to at least shoot some people, Endoryu's going to be able to find a lot more value. Executed, though, taken very low once again, but Cuddle Puddle making sure they keep their support line up and alive here, as Gato will be the first one to fall in this fight. And you already kind of see it here. Aura Fury outside of Potato Boy really just slowing down now.
Yeah, I mean, Cuddle Puddle's playing to their win condition, as I talked about, getting on top of these supports. So far, so good. We're going to have to see, because so far Festus, who's had ability to poke through that window quite a lot, just isn't finding the value so far, isn't finding those picks. So at some point, do you look to possibly swap the fair? They will have Rocket Barrage, so you got that going for you.
Gia does have Bolo ready to go as well, and that could be a good bowl off right there. Not going to be able to find anything, but Air Reason finds two already. Potato Boy going to be able to find a third, but that's what you were looking for if you're Aura Fury. Got everyone there. The last one left alive is Brook, but that's an easy cleanup there for them. And now Aura Fury in control of the point for the first time.
And they're able to clean that up with just the Rocket Barrage. So you don't so it was not a huge commit if you're the side of Aura Fury to be able to flip that point. On the flip side, however, Cuddle Puddle hasn't used a single ultimate yet, so they're going to be able to have a lot to be able to throw into this, and there's only 3 ults for Aura Fury to really contest these ultimates that are coming in for Cuddle Puddle.
Yeah, but at the same time, Tidal Blast coming out there, you're going to try to just go on executing, not going to be able to find much as that beat comes in, but oh no! Cage trapped and sunk into a pit of despair is Potato Boy right there. Bola shot, they're going to be able to clean them up, but you could already tell that was the beginning and the end of that fight as Cuddle Puddle back in control. And Aura Fury, they were banking a lot on that Tidal Blast.
What a great prediction from Gio to be able to get that late stagger onto Arson. Gato as well, having to reset themselves. They're going to get one more crack at this, and the problem is, Dex, they're going to not be a full 5. They have to push. They have to go right now. They're going to go to the sim to be able to TP.
Yeah, I like that a little bit better here. The Nano actually going on to Festus here. I don't know if that was the right move or that's who they really want to get onto, but if you can burst one person down, it helps you in the long run here, but yet no burst coming out there. There's a Kitsune Rush out from Reese Cup, but Festus can be able to find one. Potato Boy will find a second one, but you immediately see it traded right back as a Death Blossom from Endoryu. You're going to be able to find it. Brook takes care of a reason, and right now Cuddle Puddle does have the numbers advantage, but Aura Fury, especially with Potato Boy on this Wrecking Ball, good stall potential here, but I think it's just a little bit too much for them to handle by themselves.
Yes, Festus is going to get forced out. Will be able to get that passive stream and the Mega to get themselves back up. But just look at all this poke they take every time they peek.
Bola shot coming out there from Gio, going to be able to find one, but Festus immediately trades it right back out. Point could have been capped there for a moment, but the barrage from Festus gets rid of Brook, but Gio going to be able to take him out. However, Aura Fury doing exactly what they need to do here, just stalling it out long enough. Potato Boy going to be able to roll right through Reese right there, now trying to get back to point to save their teammates. Just the Freya and the Lucio right now for Cuddle Puddle, as this is easily one of the most contestable points in the game, and this Wrecking Ball might just be the best hero at it.
And they need more picks. They are going to get Gato, but Executing is traded out in response, but they're fighting the pick stacks. They might be able to flip this.
Endoryu trying to get rid of one right there. A Reason come right back in to leave right back out of the fight, but still Aura Fury holding on to the point here. You need some ultimate to go your way, though. Fest is going to fall now. You see Cuddle Puddle retake the point. Potato Boy not going to be able to stall out long enough this time, and it seems like Cuddle Puddle, yep, they will. They're going to be able to take our first point of the night.
Close first map, 100 to 92. The only issue, Dex, is we'll see what the next sub map is. But as I talked about, this is one of the better maps to be able to play the Wrecking Ball. This would be the other one, so they do get the lucky RNG roll on this one. So they have a possibility to tie this up. Obviously, they have to in order to keep this map alive, but I would be worried about what are they going to do when they get to Control Center, because I've seen the attempt to see Wrecking Ball play on this, but we did see it earlier in EU where, they got 99% because the Wrecking Ball couldn't break through, and then the team got overconfident, got picked, and then they took control on Wrecking Ball and didn't look back and reverse swept. So there's always a chance there, but the Wrecking Ball just isn't as good on Control Center. But here we go. Festus on the Pharah. Arson gonna go over to the Sojourn for this bout.
Yeah, and I mean, right now, Festus has to be even a little bit more concerned than they were on that first point. Is Endorio going
Double
over
hit
the
scan,
casting
yeah.
now? Yeah, so they have to be very, very wary of where they are flying in the sky. But right now, they're just trying to take an off angle as Potato Boy tries to just bowl through. Not going to be able to find much. But now, they're just kind of walking on top of people, trying just to get some space back here. You really want your Wrecking Ball just to be able to try to find something here as the rest of the team is struggling to even find an angle. It just looks like Cuddle Puddle going to get the free cap here as Aura just going to kind of regroup.
It's a lot of damage you're taking on the gun from the Freya, and the cast also has that flash grenade to stun the Wrecking Ball when they try and go for any dives like this, so it makes things a little bit tougher. Just see, look at how much damage you take. It forces them out so quickly.
Yeah, it's what we kind of talked about at the start of map 1, where there's so much burst potential coming out there from Cuddle Puddle just with the Freya, as they already find Festus right there. Potato Boy, it will just get out of dodge, but again, without your Freya, you're really not going to be doing much here.
Still plenty of time for Aura to be able to make adjustments. I'm just starting to think that Pharah might not be the right way to go. They're just not finding a lot of value, not finding enough picks to justify. Let's see if they can. Again, they've just been shooting through these windows and not finding picks like they need to.
They're getting damaged. Potato Boy going to be able to find one, but it immediately comes at the cost of their own life here. Brook going to be able to escape with their own life here for the moment, but Executie, she'll fall right there, and Aura now tankless, looking like they're in a good spot. Festus going to be able to find one after they find one there. Now Festus finds two. Arisen going to be able to shut down a third. Geo will take care of Festus, but won't necessarily matter as Cuddle Puddle in control. I mean, my bad. Aura Fury in control of the point.
And you also were able to force out Bola Shot from Geo, so you don't have to worry about that ultimate coming this next fight, as Aura able to re-engage, win that fight, no ult commit whatsoever. So now they can look to take these aggressive positions with the Wrecking Ball, and that's where this composition is a lot more dangerous, and you have to deal with all these ults as well.
Potato Boy barely able to escape right there as dueling consuming rushes are out on the field, and Doryu trying to find whatever value they can as the mines do come out there from Potato, able to find one, but the beat out from Executie a little bit too late to save their comrade there on that support line, but Cuddle Puddle very low on health, and Doryu will fall. Geo somehow stay alive right there, gets a large health pack, but this already seems like it's a fight win for Cuddle Puddle, but it did come at the cost of 2 ultimates.
I think you're going to take that. We're going to see Endoryu going over to the Sombra now to try and deal with this Potato Boy Wrecking Ball. And, I'm not going to blame them, just the nuisance they've been able to play. You're going to have Cage fight coming into this next battle for Cuddle Puddle. We saw the value they've gotten at it previously.
The barrage there from Festus finding one, and look what that does here to Cuddle Puddle. Ori just forcing them back. I mean, Lucio in any kind of composition, very, very important. Maybe the most important character on the side, and Cuddle Puddle just looks like they just want to regroup. Geo, though. Ooh.
Yeah, especially when you're playing a Mauga-based composition. Going over to the Symmetra now so they can look to try and hunker down on point, which I don't blame them. In comes the Cage.
Tidal Blast out here onto Potato Boy. It's going to be able to find 2, but now they're just struggling to find any value off it. Say goodbye to Geo as they get bowled off the map. Festus will find 1, and now Brook without the Cage. Not much reason to live right there anyway. The pile drive not going to be able to find much, but Aura Fury still in control of the point. Now it's going to really come down to Endoryu here to get one last touch. They're going to be able to fly in, but no touch will come. And Ray, like you said, this was the good RNG that Aura Fury needed to at least force a 0.3, but what are we going to see from them there?
Yeah, Control Center is going to be extremely tough to play on the Wrecking Ball. There's not a lot of open space. It's a lot of close corridors. I mean, the point area itself is open, but where you tend to take a lot of fights is like in the server room, sometimes outside, where it's just much more encased and harder to play. As curious to see swaps. We do see Festus, who's not going to play the Pharah. That makes sense too. That was the other thing I was worried about. Is this is not good for Pharah. It's an indoor map. Pharah doesn't play well with roofs.
Really, especially, like you said, indoor map, the only good opportunity for Pharah would be around the control point, and I don't necessarily know how well they would fare, but look at the other side for Cuddle Puddle. I mean, a Zim and a May. Nice kind of run in there from Brook to get at least stun Potato Boy there for a moment, force him to fall back. But now, if you're Aura Fury, I mean, the swaps on the other side, I don't necessarily know if you were prepared for these.
They forced out Suzu early, unfortunately, not able to go punish the positioning there. Got stuck on the corner. I see, yeah, we're just seeing the spin to win on the point, and they've already found Arson.
Yeah, that's not the one you wanted to see fall first. I mean, a lot of your damage there. Railgun's still incredibly strong. Potato Boy will be able to trade out there on the Reese Cup, as she's kind of had a little bit of a struggle here ever since the last point. Fest is going to be able to immediately find one, and now, after losing the first person in this fight, Aura Fury comes back, finds the next two, almost next three right there. Trying to get rid of Execute, they're going to be able to find them, and I feel like at the end of this fight, it will be Aura Fury taking control, but they just need to clean up the rest of it here. Brook's still alive, but you're still just seeing the rest of Cuddle Puddle fall around them.
Yeah, very impressive to see the patience coming out from Aura Fury, knowing, you know, we didn't have a great first engage. We lost someone early. Let's just play patient, play our positions, wait for our player to get back, and we have the advantage here. We see Brook already going to go over to the Orisa, which I am going to like that a lot better going into the Wrecking Ball. You have that Fortify to stop with the CC, and you also have that Javelin that can just disrupt a ball's momentum.
Yeah, Javelin either by being thrown or by the jab spin, just a lot you want to do here to slow down the momentum and the roll of this ball. Like right there, it slowed it down completely, allows Cuddle Puddle to walk through the TP, though I don't think it worked out the plan, but it doesn't matter if you can hit your shots. As Brook able to find P-Bok right there. Now, though, Gato going to be able to trade it out, but Brook still just trying to find anything else where they're watching their teammates die around them. Festus all somehow able to stay on with help of the dash, the Javelin. They were looking for the environmental kill. They will not find it as Cuddle Puddle looks like they're going to be sent back to the spawn here to regroup.
Yeah, we did see Andoryu going over to their signature May as well. Going to get sent back to the spawn room as well. It did force the mines out of Aura Fury, so you at least don't have to deal with that nuisance anymore. If you're just at a Cuddle Puddle, but 50% and counting. They got to make this next fight count. I think this could be a make it or break it type of fight for the side of Cuddle Puddle.
Oh, absolutely. But, I mean, mines are already used. You see Potato Boy already at 25%. Kitsune Rush out here now from Gato. And, oh, the TP. They wanted it to work, but immediately shut down by the Blade and that rush from Aura.
Just cinema coming in from Aura Fury. Looking incredible. They got the ball working. I was doubting it. Oh, they get Rescub out there, engage. Oh, they do get the Kitsune Rush down at least.
And the Photon Barrier is out. Brook going to be able to find a reason right there. But right now, if you're Aura Fury, I mean, you still have one of the better stall tanks here on the field. Festus, though, going to be able to find Andoryu, who, again, just trying to find anything right now. Terror Surge out, won't be able to do much other than pull some people in. P-Bok, though, will fall. So at the moment, Aura Fury is down one of their supports, and now down Festus, who's been playing excellently on the Cyber Ninja here. Get Brook going to be able to shut down the other tank or the other support as well, and Potato Boy just going to roll out. But I like that play there from Aura Fury, still holding on to two very good ultimates.
This is where things get tough for the Wrecking Ball composition I talked about. Being able to re-engage into a map like Control Center, there's just not a lot of space for them to work with, but the mines are going to help with that.
Mines coming out. Look at what happened to Brook right there. Immediately kind of chunked down. The Blizzard is out, hoping to find anyone. They will find one freeze onto a reason as Andoryu going to be able to clean up that kill, but Brook still very low on health. But look at this Aura Fury just kind of backing up without their Sojourn right there. This is playing perfectly into Cuddle Puddle's hands.
As we see pressure being mounted, as we see on the Wrecking Ball, Potato trying to push in, make something happen. Still has this overclock available for a reason. Execute could use the sound barrier. Got to make sure they don't get Ajaxed.
Overclock out right there. Execute investing that sound barrier, going to be able to hit onto all five, and Aura Fury with that sound barrier coming out. Look at that, just completely backing up, not wanting to be even anywhere near this fight. But Aura Fury actually caps the point somehow, and Andoryu going to be able to kind of clean this fight up already. But honestly, even with this being a lost fight here for Aura Fury, you're just gotta buy yourself some time. Yeah, you still would have had a couple fights, but now you're buying yourself at least an extra fight. Okay, you're still investing.
If they're going to use the Tidal Wave Blast, I'm very shocked that they're willing to commit this hard. They don't have the numbers, Dex.
If they don't have the numbers, but now the numbers are coming back, this actually might work out for them here. Or Fury going to be able to find one. Now Fest is trying to do more of the title. The Terror Surge is going to be able to do a little bit there as a reason will fall. But now another minefield coming out from Potato Boy, and it works to perfection. The Kitsune Rush out here from Aura Fury as they look to clean up. Remember, they're still in control of the point.
Wow. Aura Fury takes map number 1, looking incredible. I am shocked. One, I can't believe Cuddle Puddle let them flip the point like that in the middle of that. They were so concerned with using that sound barrier to aggress and get into the face of a Reason who was using the overclock that they just let the point get away from them. And then they couldn't, it was literally just the Wu Yang and the ball, and they could not focus them down quick enough. And they were just spinning to win on point. Like, you gotta find that kill.
It was also very interesting because that Soj is also behind them as well from essentially their own spawn side. So they weren't really looking behind them. There was just enough damage coming from that Soj that once everyone got back there for Aura Fury, you kind of saw it was on. They had the ultimates to play with while there was nothing on the side of Cuddle Puddle. But Aura Fury, especially after that first point, it was going to be a very scrappy kind of play style for them to get back into it. It really worked out for them. And remember how it started on the second point as well. They really struggled to find anything, but once they got control of the point array, much like you said, they never really looked back on points 2 and 3.
Yeah, they once they got rolling on the ball, it was game over. The one thing Aura Fury has to keep in mind is Cuddle Puddle is probably one of the most resilient teams. I bring them up all the time, as I always say in my preambles for a lot of them, like, unless you're Cuddle Puddle and Diamond, reverse sweeps just don't come easily in Overwatch anymore. But, so they're one of those teams, you can't count them out. Aura Fury has to keep their foot on the gas pedal and make sure they finish this off. I mean, but that's a great start.
I mean, hey, keeping the foot on the gas pedal here could be pretty easy, especially if you keep on playing that Wrecking Ball play style. I always kind of call them chaos comps, because you want to always be moving. If you're not moving, normally that means you're dead. But again, a lot of the maps you can definitely play Wrecking Ball, but it really comes down to now Cuddle Puddle. If you want to ban that out necessarily this early, if you really think that Aura Fury is going to want to play it throughout the entirety of this series.
Also, the maps and bans shift for the next map in favor of Cuddle Puddle, who Aura Fury was able to take him to a map where they felt comfortable. Lijiang Tower was able to get the first ban. So you always have that ability, if you are Cuddle Puddle, to rip that Wrecking Ball ban at any point. From what I'm aware, we'll see as the series goes, but I know Potato Boy, like, Wrecking Ball is their hero. I'm not sure what their capabilities are of playing other heroes. I've just heard they love their Wrecking Ball. So I want to see if that ban does come out, what they look to do for adjustments. As you can see, New Junk City is going to be our second map from Cuddle Puddle.
A really good map, especially if you want to play something a little bit more brawly, which both teams really wanted to do on that first map. It seemed, even though Aura Fury really stuck with that Wrecking Ball, and normally you would think of Wrecking Ball as a little bit closer to, I think, something of a dive tank, they still played very brawly kind of play style. And I think outside of maybe the first point, I think Wrecking Ball does decently find a good amount of value on this map. But Cuddle Puddle, again, if you want to play something here, Ramatra's now back on the table, so you have a little bit more now to play with.
I will say with this map of New Junk City, it definitely has a lot of creativity and playground area for a Wrecking Ball to work, but there's also a lot of close corridors as well. So I would definitely think, you know, if you're going to play Flashpoint, we know just how good of a map Servasa is for the Wrecking Ball. So taking them to this, and out of the 3 Flashpoint maps we have, this is probably the worst one for the ball. So maybe they don't rip that ban right off the gut.
That does make a lot of sense. I feel like that would be the smart thing to do here, but again, there's a lot of reactionary stuff here. While you could get rid of that Wrecking Ball, I feel like you could honestly still go after maybe something else that we saw Aura Fury use there throughout the entirety of that first map. But I mean, Cuddle Puddle has this first ban here, and Ray, where would you think they should go with this?
I just feel like you need to not rip that Wrecking Ball. Yeah, I would be doing that on a map where Wrecking Ball is going to be a lot more favorable. Maybe you look to go to a support. I mean, the Wu Yang was doing wonders keeping the Wrecking Ball alive with those tidal blasts, and yeah, it's going to be the Wu Yang.
Yeah, that was kind of what I was leaning towards as well. I thought the Wu Yang was good. Maybe Kiri, even though both teams really played Kiri. Just try to take something out that, even though you would kind of be hurting yourself at the same time, it felt like the Kiri really did help out. Aura Fury, though, what are they going to be focusing on here? Because, I mean, these teams play different kind of play styles at first map? Do they focus on the tanks here again, or do you think it's the DPS line?
For Aura Fury, in my head, if I'm them, I would think possibly tank, but at the same time, Brook is an extremely flexible tank. Yeah, it looks like they didn't like dealing with Sim, which, you know, not going to blame them there, especially if you're going to continue to play the Wrecking Ball. The Sim can be an annoying nuisance, especially with those turrets. The ultimate's very good. And then, you know, you get your Symmetra charged up. It's very hard to deal with her.
Well, I mean, if you're banning that out, you talked about Wrecking Ball. I don't think we'll be seeing the Wrecking Ball this map as Potato Boy going to be subbing out. Blink going to be coming in for them. And I feel like this is a really good sub for them here. Like you said, not necessarily the best Wrecking Ball map. If Potato Boy is known for that, well, let's bring in another tank on this Aura Fury squad that might be a little bit more equipped to play a map like New Junk City.
Hey, I mean, we're seeing like their favorite hero being the Junker Queen here. I would love to see it. It obviously hasn't been like a top tier choice for a lot of teams, just because in like the Brawl Rush compositions, definitely the Ramatra, even Orisa and Malga have definitely been favored a bit more. But it's her home map. I feel like, as we talked about, it's Diamond also. Teams can definitely get away with playing their play style and playing it perfection wise, and being able to beat a lot of teams with it. So, but we do see these teams lining up. We see Brook currently holding down the Ramatra. No surprise, it was banned map number 1. So we'll see how Cuddle Puddle is able to do with that now back in their arsenal for the rest of the series, as Blink going to go over to the D.Va.
And D.Va, just a generally strong tank at the moment. I feel like it's not necessarily a bad pick here, but I feel like you could find a little bit more. I feel like Winston, if you want to play a dive tank like that, might be a little bit better on this map. But D.Va, like I said, still does find a decent amount of value, no matter what the mode is.
I like Geo going over to the Venture as well for this composition, especially if they're wanting to get in and get aggressive very early, going for those drill cycles, getting on top of especially Peach on the May.
Right now, Geo just burrowing in, going to be able to come right out of the ground, get some damage, but they have that opportunity to get out. Nice sleep there on the Brook, but they'll be immediately woken up there by their team. And now you just see Geo trying to focus in on someone here. Going to be able to find Gato with some help there from Andoryu. And if you're Aura Fury, I think you might be going right back to the drawing board here. Reason will be able to find one, but your support line is already dead and gone, waiting in the spawn for you guys to join them.
Yeah, I mean, the Ana, you know, you can get a lot of value out of your sleeps. That's awesome. But the nades can just get nullified very hard by Reese Cub with the Suzu. So you really, what you're hoping for on the Ana, besides, you know, hoping, you know, you can catch them out using Suzu early and then get a big nade, is you're just looking to farm your Nano and try and get Festus with the Nano Blade.
Geo already trying to get some backline pressure here. Going to be focusing in on Festus as Festus trying to roll away, but there is no escape from Geo right there. And that's not who you want to lose first. You really want Festus in a lot of these fights to be able to clean up your initial dive as Brook trying to get in this backline. Pops in Nemesis form. Geo already finding 2 this fight, looking for a 3rd. There's a huge ante, but however, it won't be able to find much right there as Cuddle Puddle came into the 2nd map looking to tie up the series.
Yeah, and you can just see a night and day difference. Brook very flexible, but seems to be extremely comfortable on that Ramatra. Still, all ultimates available for Cuddle Puddle. Thesis definitely lacking, who's been kind of found out early in these fights, as we saw from Geo early on, is not really getting close to that blade anytime soon. And they got last crack at it for this first sub point.
Gonna be able to get a touch here to force overtime. The beat now coming out from Executey. As
okay.
Brook, the bomb gonna be able to find, and the remake finds Geo! But Brook gonna be able to find P-Bach right there. Your Nano now out of this fight. Deadeye and Annihilation out onto the playing field. Endor, you looking for those skulls as Blink just tries to eat them all up. They're gonna be able to pump in a lot of damage into that D.Va. Brook now just cleaning up on the point, throwing those left and those rights. Endor, you gonna be able to find a reason, and now Brook Blink gets knocked out of the mech. Aura Fury did cap, but it won't necessarily matter here, as you do see Festus come right back in, only to die and regroup with their team back in the spawn.
Brook being able to trade out despite so much effort coming in from Blink on that D.Va with the bomb kill, with the remech, but Brook ended up standing pretty strong. Cuddle Puddle finally getting some positive momentum going in their favor, hoping to tie up the series. They're going to still have their Kitsune Rush and their Tectonic Shock online. Issue is Fury has a lot to use.
Tectonic Shock already coming out right there. Going to be able to find P-Bach, and now you're just seeing Fury kind of completely fall apart here. A cleanup before the point even opens up. Yep, there it is. There's your team kill. I mean, it didn't cost you a couple of ultimates, but hey, that was a pretty dominant team fight for them.
I was going to say, because you got them to use Kitsune Rush as well. So, yeah, it was a 2-for-1 trade. You get control of the point, get a lot of percentage in your favor. The problem is you're just going to be facing a lot in this next fight. Nano Blade alone should be able to allow Aura Fury to win this. Nano Overclock, whichever one. I would just make sure you bank one ult if you're Aura Fury.
Yeah, don't want to invest all three here. Blink not that far away from their own bomb as well, but there's the Nano out on the Festus. Here comes the Blade as everyone starts to scatter, but it doesn't matter. It will not save you here as Festus finds two, but you do lose a reason, so they're going to be banking an ultimate no matter what as the bomb coming out there now from Blink. Going to be able to still find Execute as they were just trying to wall ride to keep themselves alive. Now, Geo just not going to be able to get into the ground fast enough there. Brook, though, last one on point, just gets stalled out for as long as they can. Finally, Aura Fury gets on the board.
56% and counting for Cuddle Puddle. A reason they're going to be needing them to come through strong in this next fight with the Overclock, because Cuddle Puddle can come back with a lot of re-engagement tools. You will have that Annihilation. Likely Andoryu's going to have that high noon. Good chance Execute is going to have the sound barrier. So they're going to have to get a lot out of this incoming Overclock. And I'd be looking to get aggressive before sound barrier is online.
Brooks, though, they can immediately pop this Annihilation, just go in, and that's exactly what they do, and they get put to sleep for their troubles. However, because of it, Aurora Fury sets a back off the point. Festus could be able to find Endoryu, though, so that's a huge trade right there as P-Bot gets rid of Execute as well. Aurora Fury, I mean, they did everything right so far, but now it's all starting to fall apart. Festus gonna be able to, or falls right there. Blink loses the mech. P-Bot out of the fight completely, and now it's just stalling on point for as long as you possibly can.
I mean, all things considered, able to get it to 80%, which, basically makes it one fight territory. Problem is, Cuddle Puddle only use the Annihilation, so they're going to have every single other ultimate in their repertoire, and all you really have is Aura Fury is a Kitsune Rush, so it's going to be tough sledding, but it's definitely a winnable situation. They're just going to have to get a lot from this.
They're going to have to play fast as well. They need to find the first pick here before anyone on Cuddle Puddle can really even think about hitting their ultimate button. But you already see the Kitsune Rush out there from them. Deadeye out from Endoryu as they're just focusing in. Just going to cancel, I believe, and it will work out for them in the end as it turns into 2 picks for them. And now Cuddle Puddle goes up 2-0 in the map. Only 1 point away from tying up the series.
And again, Cuddle Puddle, they were smart about their ult rotation as well. They go, okay, we can win this with just a Kitsune with our high noon. We can bank our sound barrier and our Tectonic Shock for this next point. Blink now going over to the Mauga, trying to find some sort of answer for Brooks Ramatra that's been so dominant on this map.
Yeah, like I said, the D.Va really need to have a lot go its way there for it to work. Tectonic Shocks, though, coming out from Geo, already going to be able to find one, and losing your speed, especially in this kind of comp, is not going to work out for you well in the end. Blink losing out as well. Oh, Cuddle Puddle, again, another quick team fight victory before the point even opens up. They'll be able to cap the point here first.
And they were still able to bank their sound barrier. In the meantime, Brook has also built up to an Annihilation. So, once again, Cuddle Puddle is just knowing their situations, knowing, the minimum amount required to be able to win these fights, and they're not putting in more than necessary.
A reason just trying to find this off angle here, focusing in on that 1v1 with Endoryu, begging for any healing right there from their support that's standing right next to them. Finally starting to get some now as Festus needs some, but Endoryu popping off. Brook, though, going in with the Annihilation, beat now out from Execute to keep their team supported through all this as Festus falls, but now you're seeing the rest of Aura Fury fall as well. This is not the map you were hoping for if you're Aura Fury.
You do get Endoryu, but they're just looking for more and more picks. Oh, just in time able to get the distance in order to TP out does Gato. Cuddle Puddle, Endoryu, another high noon, another Kitsune Rush. They have so much in their war chest for this fight. They have to make it happen, or they're going to be in a tied series.
Or Fury just forcing point right now, and I don't blame him. That's probably the best way they can get anything going their way. But now Endoryu looking for the skulls, gonna at least be able to find one, but the point does flip over here. Or Fury still somehow in this one. Are Reason gonna be able to shut down Endoryu? You're so close to some ultimates, but the two that were ready are dead. Blink's the only one that's remaining, but they cannot do this solo. Geo gonna be able to find P-Bach right there. There's that cage from Blink, and everyone from Cuddle Puddle says, yeah, you know what? We'll go in. We'll fight you in the cage. 4v1, easy on us.
And that is map number 2, folks. Cuddle Puddle has the Ramatra and just absolutely dominates. Like, despite that first map relatively being close on a lot of those points, this one did not feel that way. I feel like Aura Fury has a lot to think about now that the series is 1-1 and they can't ban that Ramatra anymore.
Yeah, that Ramatra was a little bit too strong on this map. And Aura Fury, I mean, even though they wanted to play the dive kind of playstyle, I feel like we kind of mentioned before coming into this one that New Jump City, not necessarily the best for dive in a lot of cases. This Flashpoint map, really more known for just pure brawl. Yeah, you can play some dive, but it really never worked out. And the Malga swap late, I think, was a little bit of a desperation heave just to see if they could get anything to go their way.
Yeah, it was just kind of like throwing stuff at the wall and hoping it sticks, and it just did not. Cuddle Puddle tying up the series 1-1. And I think, you know, based on the dichotomy of these teams where we've seen a Wrecking Ball comp on one map dominate and then a Brawl composition dominate on the other, I think the map choices are going to be extremely important going forward. So I feel like you have to think about this if you are Aura Fury and Cuddle Puddle. Like, which of the map types we have left? We know we have Escort, we know we have Hybrid, and we know we have Push. You got to think about it if you're each of these teams, especially like if you want to play the Wrecking Ball comp. Which modes and maps are Wrecking Ball going to be good based on our map pool, and where do we need to start forcing that and give ourselves a chance to be able to get back in this series? It gives us a lot of time to think about it because we're going to go to a quick break while they all keep that in mind. It's a tied series, folks, 1-1, Cuddle Puddle, Aura Fury. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
All right, welcome back, everyone, from that break. We have ourselves a tied series here in the Diamond Division here. Cuddle Puddle taking on Aura Fury. Cuddle Puddle able to take that last map up to Aura Fury. Was able to come back in Lijiang to win it there, but Ray, New Junk City was all Cuddle Puddle, and Aura Fury really looked lost from the performance they showed us back on map 1.
Yeah, so I kind of want to talk about this map pick given the situations we've seen coming in. So Aura Fury has decided to take us for map number 3 to Circuit Royale, which to me is a little perplexing because I think about Circuit Royale, right? I think it's a very, good Ramattra map. A lot of teams play Ramattra on here. And I guess you want to get into the duel of, I feel like Gio's been playing pretty well on the Freya, but for Aura Fury, a Reason also is a pretty good hit scan. I don't know, it just feels like, I'm not sure if they're going to put Potato Boy into play Wrecking Ball. I wouldn't recommend it on this map. So maybe they're going to have Blink play the Diva, this is also a pretty good Diva map.
It's going to be really interesting to see that. But first, before we figure out if there are any subs, there are going to be bans. Aura Fury, though, because they lost last map, they have the first ban this time around. Remember, can't ban out Ramattra. So what else was a thorn in their side last map? Or, Ray, like you said, this is a map where you just ban out one of those hit scans like Freya, like Cass, or even like a Widowmaker.
I think there is a lot of good choices to see how this will go. But Aura Fury, I don't know. It feels like Freya would be a pretty good choice given Gio's inclination to play it and how it went on Lijiang Tower. One of the reasons why Cuddle was in that. And they're going to go with a Sigma, which I have seen Cuddle play Sigma on this map, but I think they're just going to take this as okay, you want us to play Ram then? Like, let's do it.
Yeah, a very interesting one, considering how well the Ram just kind of shut down anything that Aura Fury is trying to do. And I feel like you said, even though Cuddle Puddle might play Sigma and Circuit at one point was known as the Sigma map, I feel like there could have been better options there. But hey, we'll see what it goes on. We'll see what it looks like when we get into map. Now it's time for Cuddle Puddle here. Do they focus on a hit scan or do they go back to that support line here?
I feel like given it's Circuit Royale, I think you feel like you got to target a hit scan. Whether that is, I don't think you'd ban your own Freya. A Reason has played a lot of Sojourns, so maybe you look to ban that. And Adori feels pretty comfortable on the Cassidy as well. Yeah, so I think that's going to be the smart ban because Gio can just play the Freya. You can have Andoryu go over to the Cass. So we'll see if any of these teams, one here that could play a Wrinkle and things. We haven't seen either team play it yet. But Ash, who has been a demon recently with that new fall off damage change that she got. So I think that could be a game changer if either of these teams have the ability to whip that out.
Yeah, fall off damage. I think one of her major perks is still incredibly strong at the moment. But hey, biggest question we had coming into this map for Aura Fury: what was gonna be the tank? Was it gonna be Blink? Was it gonna be Potato Boy? Potato Boy is coming back in. So does that mean Wrecking Ball, or does that mean that Potato Boy might potentially have a little bit of a better Ramattra here, maybe?
I think it's always a possibility. You never know when it comes to these Diamond Divisions, the ability and the depth of hero pool for each of these teams. So very excited to see where we're going to go from here. I do expect Cuddle Puddle to be playing a variant of the Ramattra, probably Gio on the Freya, and Doryu, maybe Cass, maybe May in some situations, because we have seen May played a little bit more, especially in like a Ram versus Ram duel. I want to see if any of these teams are going to whip out like double flexible. I've seen in a lot of like the NA Open matches where teams will, especially in the Ram mirror, some of them will play the Zen, and that Discord orb just helps out so much in that Ramattra matchup.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But going back to what you were talking about there with May, I feel like this is one of the maps where May definitely does have a really good spot in, especially on the first point push. I mean, there's the bridge. It has one choke point. There's only 2 ways to get past it. So that ice wall could really devastate a lot of teams on the defensive side here. But I mean, the dual flex support would be really, really fun to see. Like you said, it's kind of something we're starting to see a little bit more in some higher tiers. And I mean, especially with this being Diamond, sometimes they look up to get some inspiration from those teams. This could be one of those chances here now.
Agreed. So we'll have to see how these adjustments are made. I mean, obviously, we've seen both of these teams at their peak playing different compositions. So these teams have a good idea of what to expect now and could make even like if you're playing, similar compositions, just like slight adjustments within how you play your composition to deal with what the enemy team is playing. As we're gonna see defensively from Aura Fury, the Wrecking Ball. For half a second, I thought Cuddle Puddle was on defense. I'm like, are they really gonna match Wrecking Ball here? No, Cuddle Puddle's on the attack. I disregard anything that's in their spawn right now, but I am a little surprised to see Aura Fury pulling out the Wrecking Ball on the defense here. And the Zen Ana, to me, that's an extremely greedy backline, but man, anti-nade combo with Discord Orb, if you can make that work and synced up well, oh, that could be a deadly combo.
I mean, it's a deadly combo, but it's what I want to almost call glass cannon-like. It's one
greedy.
where
If you don't make it work, those two supports are so fragile, they'll go down quickly.
yeah, it's boom or bust, and right now, especially after the last map's performance, if you're Aura Fury, I don't think you want to necessarily be sent up. That has to be a really funny thing to just see as you peek over the roof.
Just like the visual glitch of looking like they're stuck in the roof. That was very, very funny. As we see Potato Boy looking to try and set up some sort of slam as the position on the high ground. Let's see what they can do.
There's a slam, but immediately going to be almost thrown everything at him. The flashbang, the wave, everything. But, I mean, Potato Boy's doing a really good job of slowing this down.
Yes, already the Al's down.
Yeah, one part of that glass cannon backline down and out, and really that's the support that's supposed to be maybe healing everyone the most here. Festus though, back out over to this this Hanzo, gonna be able to immediately find one here, but Aura Fury just has to kind of back up. Geo though, almost taking out Potato Boy, gonna be able to find them there, and I mean Aura Fury so far has been doing a really good job at just slowing this cart down.
Yeah, with the Hanzo and the Freya, it's a lot of burst damage, a lot of poke. So you have to be very careful that if you're Cuddle Puddle, even if you do get a support down like that, in the blink of an eye between Freya crossbow bolt and a Hanzo arrow, like you could just be gone off the server.
I like this play there from Potato Boy as Reese Cub and Brooke tried to go up the stairs to get on this high ground. Potato Boy just came in, pile drove down, got rid of Reese, and that kind of slows down anything that Cuddle Puddle wants to do here. Now Fest is trying to get some damage there, but the Bolt going to be able to find them there. The Bola shot out as well, I think just misses Gato there, but eventually the damage from it will take them out as Potato Boy now running for their life, and Aura Fury, what was a great start, now slowly falling apart here as Peabok not gonna be able to.
Oh, the late stagger on a P-bot, devastating Dex. I don't know if they're gonna be able to get a full regroup. I mean, you can contest, sure, but you're not gonna have your full 5, so you're gonna have to take this recontest extremely careful. Potato Boy's gonna have to do quite a stall.
Peabok though, if they can get back in time, they had the Transcendence. The Bola came out, but it won't necessarily matter, and Fest is throwing their body there for one last ditch effort. So is a reason, but that might be for a completely different reason. My feeling is they might be swapping.
That is definitely a possibility. So they're gonna go over to Tracer, and Festus is gonna go over to the Cassidy. It's just interesting. I'm not sure how I feel about the Tracer, especially when you have to go into a Cassidy who can limit you pretty well, and you have to also just be careful of just spam from the Freya. But with the mines and the slam damage, and Dory's gonna go down.
Festus also gave up the Dragons there as well, but hey, I mean, they're already almost 50% to a Deadeye, so it might have been for a good reason to give up the Dragons right there. Now they're focusing in on Executing. Executing, they're going to be able just to get out of dodge there with that Swift Step, and now Aura Fury just trying to at least take some space back here, because this is always one of the more difficult second point pushes in Escort maps. And Reason
doesn't have the recall. Reese Cub able to take them down, as now that's just going to allow these supports to play a lot more bold decks, because you don't have to worry about a Tracer coming at you for a bit.
Cuddle Puddle has all 5 ultimates ready to go, and they are not afraid to use them right now. Executing pops off with the Kitsune Rush here, but right now, Potato Boy doing all they can to slow down the roll as much as they can. Geo will eventually take them out here, but Cuddle Puddle still 4 ultimates strong to Aura Fury's 1.
Yeah, it's going to allow them to definitely re-engage, that stall does. But as you mentioned, they're just facing down a conglomerate of big-time ultimates. So I feel like at this point, you're probably giving up point 2. My goal would be just to force out as many ults as possible.
Nano actually invested here onto Potato Boy just to get back out to the carpet. Festus gonna fall almost immediately. Tidal Blast now thrown out onto, I believe, themselves there as they try to get rid of Potato Boy. Potato Boy just stalling this out for as long as it can, but eventually, again, 4-on-1. Gonna be a very tough thing here for Potato Boy to get out. You do see a reason there, but you only see him for a brief moment before they're flashbanged out of existence.
You only got them to use your Bola and the Tidal Wave Blast, as Geo's already halfway to another Bola, so it doesn't feel like you got enough. I mean, you had to contest, but you didn't get nearly enough ultimates out of Cuddle Puddle, as they'll still have plenty to continue to snowball on this third point. This is where the Ramatra, your pathing and the way you take here is going to be extremely important, and Endoryu already going down is not going to be what Cuddle Puddle wanted to be able to start taking this high ground.
But still, they're getting some cart progress here. Aura Fury not necessarily going to contest them just yet. Brook, I feel like, I believe, was forced into using that Nemesis form. Potato Boy still just stalling out cart for as long as they can. Going to be able to get some shields here as a reason. Finds executing Deadeye from Fest is going to be able to shut down Geo. And if you're Cuddle Puddle, I think at this point right now, you're just looking for an exit. You're trying to get back to spawn, or at least regroup as fast as you can.
Agreed. There's still plenty of time left for both these teams. Mines now in the realm for Potato Boy. Pulse Bomb for a reason, but just Brook on this Ramatra has taken quite the advantage with these annihilations. Going to have that to be able to use.
Mine's out around the cart right here, so nothing will be moving for a little bit. And Dory going to be able to find one with their Deadeye, but Fest is going to be able to take care of Brook as they were using their own annihilation. Cart, because again of those mines, not really moving as Festus finds a second, looking for a third here now. Has Reese Cup in their sights, but they're just going to be able to get away with their life here as Cuddle Puddle slowly starts to try to get this cart moving again.
Bola shot comes out from Geo, puts a lot of damage down on a Potato Boy, but they are not able to find the kill. Extremely unfortunate for Cuddle Puddle. You needed to be able to find that, but they do find Festus.
Yeah, Geo with that pick right there really slows down Festus, who is really starting to get a little bit hot here. Potato Boy very low on health, just trying to find whatever support they can now. Going to be able to pile drive down here. Get almost rid of Endori, but they immediately get healed right back up, and Execute takes them out. Cuddle Puddle rounding the home stretch.
It was a great Ravenous Vortex coming out from Brook, stopping the ability for Potato Boy to be able to roll on out of there. Here we go, rounding the final corner. Both support ultimates online for Cuddle Puddle. There's the rush from Aura Fury.
Cuddle Puddle also just invest theirs right there as Potato Boy trying to get in that backline. Peacock going to be able to find one right there, but to immediately trade it out there. It's a Tidal Blast onto Brook, who's going to be able to find one, but now you see the Transcendence coming out there from Peacock to keep them alive. Festus pops the Deadeye, but immediately gets taken out by a barrage of damage from everyone on the side. Geo going to be able to get rid of Peacock with some help there from Brook. Mine's out on the card again, so Orpheus going to be able to buy some time here, as there's really no cleansing option on the other side. Reese, though, going to be able to find one. Bola not going to be able to find the target, but still going to be able to put a reason into a spot where they could easily find them. Potato Boy going to be able to find one here as it's just kind of spin to win on the cart, or just to stall it out for as long as they can. Potato Boy finding a second, now looking for a third, going to be able to pile drive down in that backline, going to be able to force some people out, but it looks like Cuddle Puddle just has to take this fight and completely back out, especially losing Brook and now Endoryu. I don't think they'll be able to escape.
Wow, super unfortunate to not be able to get that cap for Cuddle Puddle. They can still return with a lot in their back pocket. Aura Fury doesn't really have any ultimates to be able to commit, so Cuddle Puddle can look to get aggressive. They will have their high noon, they will have their annihilation, but they got to move quickly with just under 30 seconds left.
Potato Boy trying to get set up, but where they kind of were hanging, they were essentially a little bit of a sitting duck, a shooting target there for Cuddle Puddle. Brook, though, they have a good ultimate ready to go here. A reason trying to get rid of Reese Cup here, not that far away from their own pulse bomb here, but Ray, they're setting up for final fight, but Brook already investing the annihilation. I feel like it's a little bit early. You need to find some value from it. You're going to be able to find one. Now you're walking forward, trying to find a little bit more, but a reason actually doing a good job distracting, but they are distracting maybe a little bit too much, distracting themselves and the rest of their team. It's dying around the point. It's now up to Potato Boy. The pulse bomb going to be able to find this. It gets two, but do they get back to the car in time to stall out? Yes, they do. They need some more support, though, from the rest of their team. Festus is there, but it's not going to be enough. Now you also see Gato back in. Peacock here. Gato actually finds one. It's two supports against the Ramatra here to stall out this cart. They're just trying to do whatever they can. That Discord does insane amount of work. And Aura Fury stops Cuddle Puddle at the finish line.
A reason being able to get rid of Reese Cub in that back line and being able to take on that duel took a lot of heals and damage out of that fight and allowed the rest of their team, despite losing a lot, to be able to get touches just in time, stall out just enough in overtime to get their players back. Whoo! Now, Aura Fury, you're in a position where, and let's just be honest, they have to cap all 3 points. That's pretty much where we're at this point, which, as we saw, can be extremely tough on this map. I'm actually curious, too, because I do think defensively, when they're playing this Wrecking Ball, you know, they're able to have Potato Boy, at least on that first point, you know, set up on that high ground, look for, you know, pretty easy slams. I think attacking is going to be a lot more difficult, being able to set something up without taking a lot of incoming damage.
I mean, I kind of thought the same thing about Aura Fury playing the Wrecking Ball on defense. That was going to be a lot harder for them to really find much value from it. I thought maybe offense would be a little bit easier because you have that kind of freedom to engage and be aggressive with it. But Potato Boy, it doesn't really seem to matter for them. They play one kind of play style with the Wrecking Ball, and it is just, I'm going to be around your entire team at all points. And Cuddle Puddle, I think, struggled with it for parts of that round there. But Reese, I think on this Brig is going to be a big boon to this Cuddle Puddle defense. It's going to be able to stop Potato Boy in their tracks in a lot of points.
Yeah, I do like the Brig coming in. Again, it's going to be a lot on Geo and Endoryu to try and stop the value from Potato Boy, as there's a great Ravenous Vortex as well, as you're already forced off the high ground, though, so this is a great first step for Aura Fury.
Yeah, Aura Fury, they're just buying some space here. Fest is on this far as well. If Potato Boy can distract them enough, they're going to be able to find the value there with a lot of burst damage that Potato Boy can be able to clean up. But already, those take-aim bolts just going to be able to slow down Potato Boy here for a little bit. And now Potato Boy has to use his shield just to get out and regroup with the rest of their team.
That was Suzu that was able to keep them alive. So, you know, nicely done for the side of Gato to keep their take alive. But look at the damage. Potato Boy just goes down. This is what I'm talking about. You know, despite having all this room, they roll in. They just take so much damage before they can even set up any kind of slam decks.
Yeah, and again, Aura Fury is still kind of running half of that glass cannon backline here with P-Bach on the Zen. And just where Cuddle Puddle's playing, it's very hard for them to really get a Discord orb onto anyone.
I'll say, especially playing the Pharah as well for Festus, it's going to be tough because you're going into double hit scan. So it's like you can't just openly be in the sky so easily because Endoryu and Geo will both just be able to snipe you.
Yeah, especially with where Aura Fury is kind of playing this and where Cuddle Puddle is playing this corner. It's very difficult for them to find anything, but Arizen getting rid of half of that hit scan line right there is huge, especially going to be able to get rid of the other half. And now this is exactly what Aura Fury was looking for here. You get rid of that DPS line. Now you're looking for a little bit more. I mean, you do have the barrage here. I would not be opposed to just kind of investing that here early.
I agree. If you can get another pick here, there's going to definitely be no re-engagement with the amount of pressure they're putting on. I don't even know if you're going to be able to touch if you just had a Cuddle Puddle, and it looks like they will not be able to. So very well positioned and well played for Aura if you're able to cap that first point. And they get more with the Rocket Barrage, so they're going to get so much space on this first point.
4 going the way right there. There's number 5, and Festus being counted for 4 of them. And for the cost of 1 ultimate, I mean, you got a decent amount of free space here, and 4 more ultimates about to be online.
Yeah, and now Potato Boy, as we can see, can really set up and start looking for slams of their own without having to take a bunch of incoming damage. Not going to get anything with that slam, however.
Bullet shot coming out there from Arizen, not going to be able to find much, but now Rizka pops the rally. Potato Boy looking for the nearest exit as they do not want to be around this Brig at the moment, and I think the use of the rally right there might be a one that you kind of regret a little bit later. Deadeye out here, though, from Endoryu, looking for anyone, but still, Aura Fury just able to push this card up the hill, but you lose Gato, who had your only support ultimate left. Hell, your only ultimate left. Aura Fury just went 0 for 3 in all the ultimates there.
Yeah, but it was an expensive fight for Cuddle Puddle as well. They went and used 4 ultimates in that fight. So it's going to be on Brook to build this Annihilation, because as you mentioned, they'll be able to come back pretty quickly and use this Kitsune Rush. So you have to have that ultimate online and ready to be able to combat that incoming ultimate, and they get Geo early.
A reason right there, going to be able to find them. There's that Kitsune Rush from Gato, just going to start off this fight for Aura Fury. Right now, though, Festus still in the sky, pumping in damage, pumping in a lot of burst damage, going to be able to find Reese, and now it just looks like Potato Boy going to try to play a little bit of offensive lineman here, just clear a path for their team to get the second point, going to try to bowl through Brook right there. The arms will not save you this time here, as Aura Fury just a meter away, going to be able to get it with that little boop up into the sky, and Ray, 4 minutes to basically complete the map. Aura Fury really went from looking like they were still kind of lost on that first point defense side to now looking like they're in cruise control.
A lot of high ground to play if you're Aura Fury. I do think the Pharah is going to start to lose its value a little bit as you head to the indoors point on this third point for Circuit Royale. So maybe at this point, if you're Festus, you go back over to that Genji at some point. But you do have Rocket Barrage, so you're at least going to be able to use that here to get Brook with it.
I mean, hey, I think it was a worthwhile trade right there, especially because I think both me and you are thinking they're going to be making the swap here once they get off at P-Bot, going to be able to just kick Geo back to spawn.
They are
but
not,
no.
actually.
I don't hate the idea either. The ceilings here are high enough where the Pharah still finds a decent amount of value, and I don't think Potato Boy expected the entirety of Cuddle Puddle to be up on that high ground.
No, I don't think they did either, as they are ready. They used the Suzu, however, so that Slam could have gotten a lot of value, but great repositioning from the side of Cuddle Puddle.
And now Geo trying to run for the life. Deflect already out, but you see the annihilation come out here from Brook for Cuddle Puddle on that point. Just try to slow down Aurora Fury at this point. Mines, that's a perfectly placed Mines right there. Gonna be able to buy them some space here and some time, as no one from Cuddle Puddle wants to even get near that. Fest is gonna be able to find one. A reason finds Endoryu, and this Pharah pick still working out very well, even in the indoor part of the map.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. I'm not a fan of the Tracer Genji, specifically with the Ramatra. You don't have anything to deal with a Reason or Festus.
Kitsune Rush out there now. Pulse Bomb from Endoryu, not going to be able to find much. Executed, though, immediately gets taken out there by Festus, who's not that far away from another barrage, as now they're trying to get rid of Geo, and they will find it there. This Pharah pick working out like a charm here for Aurora Fury, and they're able to get out for free here as well. Cuddle Puddle, though, they still have some good positioning here. Potato Boy, though, low on health, had to go roll away from him, but immediately right back into that backline as they're trying to get rid here of Reescup, who had the Nano. That was the only ultimate they had here for a very, very long time. We could see the end of this map right here. Got to invest in Kitsune Rush right now. Execute falls. The barrage probably not that far behind. It's going to be a celebratory barrage there. It will take care of Brook. The last one left alive is Endoryu, who's just trying to stall out, but in the end, they actually get the Nano in time here. You see Reese Cup come back, but they will not have the same kind of heroics that Aura Fury had on the defensive side. Aura Fury, whew, match point for them.
Big time win. They really made that Wrecking Ball and Pharah composition work extremely well. Because, you know, their defense, you know, all this, they did stop them on the third point, but it felt like Cuddle Puddle was able to drive pretty soundly. But they come on the attack, and they just never looked back. They were extremely impressive. Love to see the Wrecking Ball doing its magic on this map where I wasn't expecting it to get a lot of value. It got tons of value. Excuse me. So now you're on the spot if you're Cuddle Puddle, where you're facing going home down 2-1. You have to win the next 2 maps in a row. As I talked about, Cuddle Puddle been in this position a lot of times, so they're no strangers to making big comebacks. And, you know, obviously bans and map pick go back into their favor. Question is, do they look to take us to hybrid, or do they look to take us to push?
I think it's difficult for either one here, but just going back to that last map right there, I think that Pharah pick, one that you don't normally expect to see find a lot of value outside of maybe that first kind of turn right there, especially because you always kind of think of it as a hit scan map. Long sight lines makes it very difficult, and for about the first minute and a half, Cuddle Puddle was doing a very good job of not allowing Festus on that Pharah to find a lot of value. But once they turn that first corner or second corner after the bridge on first point push, Festus almost had free range. It seemed to do whatever they wanted in the sky, as just neither one of those DPS heroes on the other side could really do anything about it.
Yeah, I'm like looking at our map pool decks. I'm like, where do you go if you're the side of Cuddle Puddle? Because I'm like, okay, well, what could you even take us to a map where Wrecking Ball's not going to be that good? I'm like, Blizzard World, no, it's fine. Midtown, no, that's probably fine. New Bonnie, probably fine. Maybe Kings Row, but Kings Row's pretty open to any kind of composition. And then if you go push, I mean, East Bronson, that's a dive map already. New Queen Street, I mean, Crazy Raccoons are famous for playing Wrecking Ball on New Queen Street. And then you have Runasapi, which is just a very open map, so Wrecking Ball can still find its value. It's just there's not a lot of plays I see here. So my guess would be maybe take him to a map where Wrecking Ball is good, and you got to look to rip that ban right now.
Oh, I think you might be right about that. Runasapi is the map pick here for Cuddle Puddle. And And I think this is a good map to say, hey, we're going to pull the Band-Aid. This is your Wrecking Ball ban map.
Yeah, because, I mean, ball has a lot of room to be able to work with. It's definitely a fine map to be able to play the ball. Like, I feel like at this point, if you're Cuddle, it's time. You win this map, you will be going to hybrid, where Cuddle could take you to, or where Orafury could take you to any of those more dive-oriented hybrid maps. But I think at this point, your backs are against the wall. You gotta force this map 5. It's time. I would be shocked if they don't ban ball.
Yeah, no, I would expect the ball ban here, and if they win it, I would expect just to be going to King's Row anyway next map. I feel like that's probably what Cuddle Puddle would be expecting here if they do end up winning, would be King's Row, and they could probably say, hey, we can deal with the Wrecking Ball there. Let's get rid of it here. But if they don't do that, I wouldn't be surprised. It might be a little bit reactionary if they get rid of something like the Kiri, maybe like the Zenyatta, but no, this is it. There's the Band-Aid, the Wrecking Ball, banned out here.
I think it was a must if you're the side of Cuddle Puddle trying to keep your hopes alive in climbing this lower bracket to be able to face Wawa in the losers semifinals. Question is, where does Orafury go from here? I mean, to me, I don't think like Reese Cub and Execute, it's not like, they're playing any like off the wall supports or any one of them is like going so sicko mode that you have to just take that away. So my guess is they're going to go and possibly target one of these DPS, possibly Geo, who's shown a lot of flexibility. That's the problem with Geo is like, sure, you can ban one thing, but Geo plays a lot of things. So looks like they are going to ban the Venture, which we did see Geo pull out on New Queen Street. So I get it.
New Queen Street and a little
New
bit
Junk
back
City.
on,
I'm sorry, New Junk City.
Yeah, New Junk City and a little bit back on Li Jiang for, I believe, one sub map. So again, I think these are two really good bans. Like you said, like we kind of talked about, we talked about it at length. Cuddle Puddle, you had to make this ban here. You really did. And for Orafury, they haven't touched that support line yet tonight when it comes to bans, but I think you hit the nail on the head there. Is that Executy and Reese Cub, they haven't necessarily been, they haven't had the point where you've had to say, okay, they have to ban this out just yet. Maybe if we go to a 5th map, might be the case, but looks like we're also be seeing Blink coming back in here for this push map.
No surprises here. Potato Boy's been their ball player. Ball's banned. Take him out. So we'll have to see how Blink goes. I mean, when we did see Brook against Blink on New Junk City, it was not close. So hopefully they can make some adjustments, find a good tank matchup that they feel comfortable. My guess is Brook is still going to look to play the Ramatra on this map. So let's see if they can find a way to break through it and punch their ticket to the loser semifinals.
Yeah, I mean, Ramatra, I feel like would be the way to go here for Cuddle Puddle. You go back to the one map they won. They played the Ramatra almost exclusively, and it really gave Orafury, especially Blink, a lot of problems with it. But I also feel like they maybe stuck on the Diva a little bit too long when you go back and look at that map. If they come out with the Malga, like they kind of swapped to eventually, it might be better, but we could just see a mirror instead. I wouldn't necessarily be opposed to that, as we both see teams lining up right now. Blink is showing the Ramatra as what we were kind of expecting from Cuddle Puddle, but Cuddle Puddle is revealing a different comp that we haven't seen from them yet, which is Brook going over to the Hazard and then going for more of a dive style with Endoryu on the Sombra and Geo on the Genji. So it's, Brook diving in, looking for targets, Endoryu, being sneaky Sombra, looking for hacks, and Geo following up on a lot of this. Everything with Cuddle Puddle's lineup here makes me think that they really think Orafury is going to be coming back out on the dive. I think they're going to be a little bit surprised here when they see Blink out on this Ramatra, because Endoryu, I think, was just going to be just exclusively hacking the tank or that backline, which they find P-Block almost immediately, but Blink going to be able to knock the lights out of Executy right there. So even though you found the first pick here, Geo looking a little bit low as well, but Endoryu going to be able to find Festus right there to give Cuddle Puddle back the advantage. Little surprised the Thera was in range to get taken down by a Sombra, but a reason able to find Endoryu, so they're going to be able to continue to put a lot of pressure on this card and keep getting some meterage in their favor, as Cuddle Puddle needs their full group. With a composition like this with the Hazard, you need everyone together coalescing on targets together. Yeah, I mean, it was a good start there for Cuddle Puddle, but kind of just fell apart. Festus now going over to the Torb. Did just decide that the Pharah was not going to do it here and really does not want Endoryu to find any value on this Sombra, apparently.
Fair enough, as that's already a lot of damage taken from Festus. They're going to already get sent back to the spawn room.
You lose Brook right after, and then you lose Reese. However, you immediately trade back out onto the other support, executing now, running for their life, but the Vortex! Making it into a small trampoline there for a brief moment, but Ari's going to be able to find Geo, and somehow, some way, Executing lives through all that. Another Ravenous Vortex coming out will eventually end with them getting their lights knocked out yet again.
As we're going to see Cuddle Puddle abandon the hazard composition, go over to the Ramattra. This is kind of more what I was hoping for. Not sure if you're going to continue to see the Genji and the Sombra going forward. I think maybe you play this ult cycle and then you look to swap. I wouldn't be surprised if Endoryu goes over to the Mei. Endoryu has a fantastic main. It would work well to help out in this Ramattra, the Ramattra situation.
Well, both these Ramattras just decided to run past the enemy tank and into the enemy backline. And hey, for Blink, it worked out very, very well there. As you get rid of both of them, Brook falls as well. Geo knocked out here. And Endoryu will find one, but now they're also kind of running for their life as a reason. They had a good guess of where the invisible Sombra would be.
And man, not even 3 minutes into this match, and Aura Fury's already coming up on 80 meters gain. Cuddle Puddle has to find a way around this, and it might be with this EMP from Endoryu incoming.
And remember, Blink invested the Annihilation in that last fight. There's the EMP, lands onto 4, and you might honestly just see 4 members of Aura Fury fall to their own deaths right here. A reason Gato, Blink already taken out, all the deflects going right into the turret, and now the rest of Aura Fury just trying to get out of dodge here. Cuddle Puddle gonna be able to reach to the spawns and get on the board, I believe. And oh, that's a crushing stagger kill there on the P-Bok.
Yeah, because P-Bok's not going to get the forward spawn, so now you're going to have to look to back out if you're Aura Fury. You can't take a close fight. You probably would have wanted to, come and re-engage with your Kitsune Rush and your Overclock. Now you cannot do that. Given that they're going to be re-engaging on this next corner with that, it is on Execute. You have to have the sound barrier ready, and you cannot get Ajaxed.
Kitsune Rush is out here from both sides. It's Blink trying to apply the pressure, but there's that beat out from the other side there for Executing. Now Blink just trying to back up here. Blade coming out here from Geo in that backline. Or gonna be able to find one, now turns to another, but the deflect might just negate the rest of this Blade here, but the damage already done in this fight. And Ray, you were talking about there for a moment there. Aura Fury almost got up to 80 meters. Well, about a minute later, I think Cuddle Puddle is going to be getting control of the forward spawns here for themselves here, but Blink is still alive. Tidal Blast actually coming in. It's going to find Geo somehow, but Blink trying to single-handedly keep this fight on its own. Cuddle Puddle eventually going to break through. I don't know if this gets them forward spawns, but it's going to get them pretty darn close.
Yeah, one issue you're facing if you're Blink, feels like you got to get this Annihilation on quickly because Endoryu's getting closer and closer to being able to match that with an EMP, which we're going to see now that Molten Core coming online. We'll see. I mean, really, it's just going to force the players back for Cuddle Puddle.
Yeah, I'd like it as a little bit more of a zoning tool there for Aura Fury. It allows them to kind of get reset back up. There's really no ultimates ready on the other side. Blink gonna get hacked up here, but they immediately pops the Annihilation once they get out of it. And now they're just looking for targets here. They're still just throwing punches, not even really blocking, and it's gonna come back to bite them there. And Doyen now has the EMP, which they could realistically just invest.
They don't need it.
Fight. They don't need it, but they just lost Brook, meaning that they could use it if they really feel like they need to.
That they do. A lot of players are low, however, just look at the half health, and you get the hack, but they are able to get themselves out of there. But getting Gato, I think that's going to secure the forward spawns for Cuddle Puddle as they look to turn this around. And they still have that EMP in their back pocket, which should be able to win them a fight alone. So if they can carry this momentum, Dex, win this next fight, they might be able to take the meterage lead.
And I mean, Cuddle Puddle has been on a little bit of a tear here. They're just playing these fights very, very smart here. They're backing up, letting Aura Fury take some space, and then coming right back in with space of their own. That EMP gonna be huge here. Only finds on the Blink, but that might be the only person you need to go after. However, Suzu invested there by Gato. It will cost them their life here, but can Blink find maybe Brook out here? They have their own Nemesis form ready to go, but you're still just seeing this Somber pick, which, Ray, I think both me and you thought after the first EMP was used, they would swap off, but I think with them staying on it, it's actually worked out better for them in the end. Festus, though, coming out on the Genji, going to be able to clean up this fight here, and finally, Aura Fury able to break through and disable those forward spawns.
Unfortunately, not able to take full advantage of that EMP was Cuddle Puddle. They will be able to come back for ultimates of their own, but now that basically Aura Fury is going to get the full response, it's going to make this re-engage that much tougher. You're going to have to win 2 fights in a row before you can even think about taking the lead. If you are Cuddle Puddle, there's the Kitsune Rush to see what they can do with it. I mean, they're just hiding back.
The Blade, though, going to be able to find one right there. I think it actually deflected a shot back into P-Bach. Reese Cup going to be able to shut down a Reason as well. And, I mean, you invested 2 ultimates there if you're Cuddle Puddle. And if you're Aura Fury, I don't necessarily think you're mad about that. You should just be backing completely out of this one.
If they get staggered here, oh, this is not good for them. They're not going to be able to get their forward spawns for their players. I mean, you get Reese Cub, but I mean, you're on Kiri. You should be able to get back road to the everyone's re-engaging here. I guess if they keep okay, it crosses. Yeah, this is disaster.
Yeah, this is just a mistake by Aura Fury. I mean, I would have just completely backed up once you saw those 2 ultimates come out, but again, they just wanted to keep the pedal to the metal. But in times like that, sometimes you just have to pump the brakes.
Festus, a Reason, both these DPS ultimates should be able to get them this alone. These again, there's that Bubble Blade coming in, able to find Execute, and that's pretty much all you needed, is they're able to clean up everyone else.
The beat from Execute got out just in time to really keep Reese Cup alive there. Brook, this Annihilation still going on. I don't think Festus knows that they're the one that's kind of keeping it going here. That yellow line of victory, or the yellow line for the lead, is right there. Cuddle Puddle, they can see it, they can taste it, but the Annihilation out here from Blink, gonna be able to find Brook. But right now, if you're Aura Fury, you just want to reset these spawns because you have 2 more minutes and you only have a 7-meter lead.
Yeah, things are getting dicey for both of these teams. A Reason still going to have an overclock as Cuddle Puddle still 20% away from this EMP. This is Aura Fury's chance to possibly put a nail in the coffin if they can take advantage.
Oh, Blink with a huge pick-off right there. If they can find Geo, could be even better. Suzu coming out there from Gato and Reese to keep their teams alive, but Cuddle Puddle desperately lacking in that support line. Geo, though, going to be able to find 1, find 2. They're slicing, they're dicing, they're doing everything. Cuddle Puddle was looking like that was a lost fight, but somehow, some way, they take control with a team kill.
And they didn't have to use any ultimates decks. They're going to have both their DPS ultimates. They're going to have that Kitsune Rush. They just flipped what was looking like a disastrous situation on its head. And they might be able to take the lead right here and now.
I mean, again, only that overclock here for Aura Fury. That cart is moving. Cuddle Puddle almost take the lead, but you see it come back. EMP only comes out on Nagato. A little bit of a misplay right there, but the Blade should be able to clean it right up. Trades out evenly, though, as the overclock does find 1 right there. P-Bach can be able to trade out. Andoryu Geo pretty low here. Just a couple of punches thrown each way, but the Disruptor shot from a Reason gonna be able to shut them down. And now, if you're Aura Fury, you're just trying to get this cart pushed back as far as you can the other way. But Ray, they've rotated into a really good spot with ultimates.
Oh, this is tough because it's going to be one final fight. Let's say Cuddle Puddle wins this, Dex. It's going to be overtime. And I think they should be able to push the bot all the way and take the lead. Here we go, Kitsune.
Kitsune out here, and I think if you're Aura Fury, you kind of just back up and kite this one for as long as you can. I think now's the point where Blink should end up using that Annihilation, but no, it's going to be Brook here first. The Tidal Blast out here, but Andor, you're going to be able to find 1, but the Annihilation from Blink finds 1 as well. Festus falls, the Annihilation from Blink still going, and you're seeing everyone inside of Cuddle Puddle very, very low. Aura Fury going to be able to hold on and move on to take on Wawa Gaming in the next round.
Oh, very unfortunate for the side of Cuddle Puddle, but huge dubs for Aura Fury, keeping their season alive, and they will face Wawa in the winners semifinals. What a match.
What a match. And honestly, Ray, outside of Junk City, it was very, very close. This series could have gone either way. Lijiang Tower went all 3 points. I'm already drawing a blank on what the third map was. Yeah, they were all close. Like there was Circuit Royale, very, very close. Aura Fury holding on, Cuddle Puddle at the finish line there on that third point, I think you can go back and look at it as a complete difference maker in this entire series. The fact they gave themselves a win condition rather than forcing overtime, which especially on a map like Circle Royale, where you see some wild stuff happen, especially in those overtime rounds, was so key for them.
Yeah, that was just one insane series for Aura Fury. Congratulations to them. Condolences for Cuddle Puddle. I know you guys wish you could have made it further, had a better season, but hold your heads up. This was quite the season. This is a very competitive diamond season. And y'all put your hearts out there on the server.
Yeah, again, Cuddle Puddle, they made a deep run last season, trying to do it again here, got knocked down a little bit earlier than what they had hoped for, but again, they kept the series really competitive throughout the entirety of it, very, very close. Ray, you're really looking at it as 1 or 2 fights go their way, and they're winning this series, really, and they could have honestly swept this series as well. They were that close, but Aura Fury just found ways to win.
Well, folks, we're not done quite just yet, as we will be getting a winner's interview in from Aura Fury, so don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with that.
All right, welcome back everyone here to the booth. We are actually going to have a little bit of an exit interview as well before we get to our winners interview. We are pleased to be joined by Gio from Cuddle Puddle here. Gio, hey, a rough series for you guys tonight, but you guys kept it very, very close throughout. Now, as your season ends, what do you have to say, at least about this series here?
Yeah, honestly, we just beat ourselves on half of the points. No disrespect to Aura. They played a hell of a game too. Obviously, they won it. But we just had a lot of little mistakes that kind of plagued us throughout the season. It's kind of built up to this, really. But it was a close game. We fought, gave it all we could.
Yeah, super unfortunate. So, I mean, Cuddle Puddle's been a big name stake in the Diamond tier for a while now. The question for you guys is, where does Cuddle Puddle go from here, entering possibly CGL next season? You guys staying at Diamond? Do you guys have any idea where you guys go from here?
We are in the process of figuring that out. Some of us are moving up to Masters tier after this season. So we'll see how that goes. And yeah, overall, I was happy with the season though. Love playing with the team. Wouldn't do it with anybody else in this tier. Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, you guys seem like you guys had a really good plan coming into this one here. Like you mentioned, there were those little problems here and there, but it seemed like it was just a hard-fought back-and-forth series here tonight. What is one thing, though, that you kind of wish you might have been able to change here tonight?
That last fight on Runasapi. If we just placed our ults a little bit better, I think we take that map and force a map 5. And who knows? We're the king of map 5s, the boogeyman of the playoffs. But we're finally taken out in the lower bracket. All props to Aura, GG's. Like I said, they played one hell of a game.
All right, and just to bring it back to a little bit of a positive note, you know, just looking back and reflecting on the season, do you have like a favorite moment, you know, that just, you know, just kind of made this season or just feels special place in Cuddle Puddle's hearts?
Beating, well, previously known Solar in the mid-season. Again, by the way, you know, second time we beat them in bracket play. No one else could have done that. Probably until DB plays them this week, or this weekend, or next weekend?
On
I don't
Thursday,
know when
yeah,
that match
it's
is.
scheduled
Okay.
for Thursday.
Okay. So, only wanted to give him the loss twice. Feel good about that. We were all happy. Someone send Bert some more energy drinks. You need some more for this match coming up. If you know, you know.
All right, but hey, before we let you go, Gio, we just want to give you the floor right now to shout out anyone or anything you want.
My entire team, Pizza, Brooke, and Jesus, XQD, and Reese. Like I said, I'm not sure what exactly is going to go on next season, who's moving up, who's moving down, but love playing with you guys. Most fun I probably had in Overwatch. Very long time. So thank you guys.
It's great to hear, man. Hey, again, Gio, thank you so much for joining us, man. It was a great season for you guys, but unfortunately, it does end here tonight. Again, everyone, that was Gio from Cuddle Puddle. Man, we'll let you now go and enjoy the rest of your night.
Yep, thank you, thank you.
Thank you. All right, well, right as we wait here for a moment to get everything else set up for the winners interview, where we will have two members of Aura Fury, being Blink and Festus, coming in. I mean, like we kind of mentioned before we went to break, it really was a back and forth series. And like I said, 2 or 3 fights going the way of Cuddle Puddle. And they could have been winning this series. And hell, I think they could have swept this series as well. It was that close.
No, I agree with the sentiment Gio had. That final fight on Runasapi was just not played as well as they could have. As he mentioned, if those ultimates were just placed a little bit better, I definitely agree, because there's 30 seconds left. If they would have won that fight, they would have been pushing, taking the lead, and, you know, maybe you get a messy contest coming in from Aura Fury, but yeah, that's kind of where we're at. As you can see, we will be doing this winner interview on screen. We will have Festus and Blink as we are bringing them in right this second.
Yeah. So, hey, welcome to the booth, guys. Congratulations on the victory here tonight. Moving on now to play Wawa Gaming, but let's focus back on this series here. Very, very close series against Cuddle Puddle. What do you guys think was the main difference for you guys to get on to the next round?
I mean, personally, I just think Potato Boy is too goated. Like, no one matches that guy.
I think honestly, I think we should be in the winner's bracket. I had some things come up last week that didn't let me show up for the match, and that was a really close, 3-2. So we got into the loser's bracket, and at least for me, I'm just looking forward to playing some good games. And Cuddle Puddle was very good, but there's just I think we were slightly better on our ult rotations. And a few clutch plays from everybody just kind of helped.
Yeah, I agree. I do think on the 3 maps you won, I think you guys definitely had the better ult control, especially on that final map. Even the map you guys lost, I felt like Cuddle had the better ult rotation as well. I think that's a lot of what the series came down to. I guess looking forward a bit to your guys' next matchup going up against Aura Fury. I'm sure, this Diamond tier, very close-knit. Everyone knows each other. How do you guys feel about this matchup going against them in the loser semifinals?
Going
Did
against
I say Wawa? I meant Wawa.
Okay.
Yeah, you're good. Going against Wawa, I'm a little excited for it because I don't remember playing against them in our round robin section of the tournament. So I believe it'll be our first time fighting each other. So I'm super stoked to see how that'll come out for the first time.
That's actually crazy to think. I was thinking the same thing because ironically, the winners finals, Death Blossom and Shelby's team, they have not played each other yet either. So losers semifinals and winners finals all going to be first time matchups in the Diamond division, which seems unthinkable given the schedules and the teams. But I guess what for you guys, in order to be able to beat Wawa Gaming and punch your ticket to the winners finals, the losers finals, what do you guys feel like is going to be your win condition? What do you guys need to do to be able to ensure you get there?
I think, honestly, I think I just need to show up. I think my team, or Fury, is so long as we aren't getting in our own heads, I personally believe we're the best team in the division. In the previous few matches we've had against top tier components, we've had a player's electricity just go out, so we weren't able to perform our best on that match day. So I think so long as we don't have whatever Murphy's Law against us, we'll be good.
I also think similar. I just hope that we can get our whole roster there for a game. I also think I need a couple more scrims with the team. I've been just an all-around flex player. Y'all seen me on all 3 roles in the tournament so far. Been an all-around flex player for the team and kind of doubling as semi-coach because of that. And I think if I get a few more scrims on tank for the team to fill our missing slot, I really do think we'll be a very heavy force to be reckoned with.
Absolutely, especially with the performance that you guys had tonight. Even with it being close, it always kind of felt like you guys had everything in control here. And while it comes down to a little bit of how you were playing, how Festus was playing, how that entire DPS line was playing, that support line of you guys as well seems very, very confident. We were even talking about what you guys were playing back on Circle Royale as being a little bit of a glass cannon sort of backline on the defensive side. It seems like they're very flexible as well. I imagine this entire team is just incredibly flexible, allowing you guys to play into several different compositions.
Yeah, we do kind of have a semi-flexible backline when it comes to most of the supports. We don't have a Lucio. God, do we not have a Lucio? But I mean, force on a Zen and make it work, and beat your head into a wall trying, and it'll.
Yeah, I've heard it's hard.
It'll work out for
I've
you.
seen a
right?
lot of people talking about how it's so hard to find Lucio players nowadays. Lucio and Brig players are hard to find.
We got P-Bok on Brig, so P-Bok's good for the Brig, but
P-Bok handles the Brig, but that speedy boy, we're a little lost on that guy.
you know, when we
quite
need speed
grasp
people at the
that.
Juno, which is not a good look.
Yeah, we are pretty flexible players, but we don't have anyone who I'd say is a hard one trick, excluding Potato Boy. That guy's disgusting on the ball, so we just keep him on it. But more often, we've kind of forced ourselves onto these 2 comps that we had prioritized in the tournament, and just tried to stick with them and run with them. And it got us here. So I mean, we can't hate on it too much.
Absolutely got you guys here. I think I can get you guys even a little bit further, but time will tell on that one. But Blink, or if you're Blink and Festus, before we let you guys go here, we want to give you guys the floor to shout out anyone or anything you guys want.
You want to go first, Blake?
I'll go first. Shout out to obviously my second tank in this match, Potato Boy. That guy's awesome. And Reason, the clutch god, absolutely have to shout him out, and P-Bok, who's been my boy since day one.
I just want to, shout out Aura Fury as an org. They've been very supportive of us as a team and making sure, even though they kind of primarily do other games, they still have a space that we can play in and compete in. And I also want to shout out ACS, even though he isn't, like, for obvious reasons, very valid reasons, he isn't playing. I'm still, like, chatting with him and making sure that our theory about the game is a high level, or as high as we can. So
yeah, well, hey guys, congratulations on the victory here tonight. Good luck against Wawa Gaming in your guys' next matchup. Again, everyone, that was Blink and Festus from Aura Fury. Guys, we'll let you guys go now and enjoy the rest of your night and celebrate the victory with the rest of your team.
absolutely.
Adios.
All right,
Thank you, guys. Well, Ray, it was a really close series, like we said, but this Aura Fury roster and team really seems like they can go toe to toe with almost anyone in this year. And like they said, they feel like they should still be in that upper bracket, but now they have to make that salty lower run here. And I really feel like they might have the chance to do it.
I'm very excited to see where we go from here for all of these teams. The top 4 teams in the Plat division still remain from the regular season, which is in the Diamond division, Shelby's team, Death Blossom, Wawa Gaming, and Aura Fury. They were 1, 2, 3, and 4. So it's no surprise that there are last 4 teams in the big bracket. But with that, folks, that is going to wrap us up. We had quite a long day of CGL Overwatch, 6 games in total, and our final game has come to a conclusion. I'd like to thank everybody in chat throughout the entire day. It was a crazy day of games. Thank you, Dex, for being able to join me on this late night game. Sunday nights could be, quite taxing because we all got work in the morning, obviously. And then thank you, Thoromu. Thank you, June, for being able to do this, and thank to all the producers. A lot of people are in Stockholm right now, so it was really hard to set all these games to actually get done. So huge shout outs to everyone who helped out this weekend.
Yeah, again, a lot of people helped this weekend go on, and Ray, thank you so much as well. But hey, like Ray said, that will do it for us here tonight at CGL. Make sure you guys tune in next week, as we're starting to get towards the end of some of these brackets. Grand finals not that far away. But for the rest of us here at CGL, we hope you all have a good night. It is bedtime. We'll see you next week.